We are live.
Yay! Hello.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to this month's FC Beat. So, Jill, we've got some new members. Why don't you tell them what the FC Beat is?
Yes. Hello, everyone. The FC Beat, FC stands for financial coaches because we're really brilliant like that. Coming up with the really snazzy names for things. And this is our one time a month where we hop on and we love to just give an update on everything that's happening kind of in the fiscal fitness world, what's happening with us as coaches personally and in the business, and what's happening with our clients. One of our favorite things to do is just really recognize all of the accomplishments of all of our amazing clients. And so we'd like to hop on here with you guys and give you a little inside peek to what happens in our world and with the lives of the people we work with.
Yeah, we want to celebrate you and celebrate all that's happening around us, all the good stuff, even though it might feel a little stressful and chaotic at times. So that's what we're doing. And we like to start with a joke. So, Jill, you've got the joke for this month. So dive in.
I do. Okay, you ready for this one?
I don't know if I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Why do fish always sing off tune?
I don't know. Why?
Because you can't tune a fish.
I don't think we'll ever run out of corny jokes for the FC Beat.
So bad, right?
Yes. So, we are open to jokes, you guys. So if you want better ones, you just comment with them. No, send us a PM. And then that way.
There we go. Maybe your joke will make it live.
Yes, maybe your joke will be featured on a future FC Beat. I mean, come on now. So
we could use some help, clearly.
All right.
Yeah. Well, we love to kind of give just updates in the world of financial coaching. And of course, right now with coronavirus still, rampant and everyone kind of living still in this like quasi quarantine world. Some of us are starting to come out. Some of us aren't. There's a lot of things still happening. It has been very encouraging to see that there are some of those like efforts from the government that are out and available, helping small business owners, helping individuals. We've seen a lot of our clients that have been receiving their PPP loans over the last month or so. We've also started seeing some business owners that are receiving their EIDL, which is the Economic Injury Disaster Loan. Those have started coming through over the last couple of weeks also. And I just kind of wanted to give a quick update for those of you business owners that did apply for the EIDL and you've received your advance already. Take this as a sign that you are likely in the queue, that you're probably going to be seeing something very soon from the SBA with an offer for your true EIDL loan. So they will be sending you an email. It is not like I feel like they didn't do the greatest job with like subject line or a way to get your attention. So please don't just go through all of your emails and be deleting everything if you're waiting to receive that notice. It says like SBA application number and it's got the series of numbers behind it. And I know to me, when I first saw it, it just kind of looked like spam. Like I almost just deleted it with all of the other spam that I get.
Well, it says, so I'm looking at it right now. It says SBA application number - submitted confirmation. So then you open up the email and it's like, here, create your account here. So you go to like and then there's a button that says create account. And I'm thinking like, I got my PPP funds and like, I know I'm in that 8-week period. So I have time. I don't need to create an account yet. Right. Is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
It says nothing about see what other information is provided. See that more funds are being offered to you. Absolutely nothing in this email.
Right. Yeah. So it's very like nondescript. So the PPP loan, just keep in mind, if you are someone that applied for both, the PPP loan's through the bank. So whoever bank you applied with, you're getting information from them. The EIDL is direct through the SBA. So any communication from the SBA is likely related to your EIDL loan. So be watching for that email. You'll have a link, just like Kelsa said, there's a button in that email that you click on it and you'll be asked to set up your portal. You enter your username, choose a password, and it will show you how much you are eligible for. So you can either claim it or claim nothing. And it's up to you what you want to do with it at that point. But just know to keep an eye out for it, especially if you're someone that's been waiting and hoping and praying that there's some money coming your way. If you've seen the advance, this is likely coming within the next few weeks, because we have been seeing more and more people receive their notice that they have been approved and they need to log in to create that portal.
And I do want to say really quickly too, that if you did get the email and you were, awarded or eligible for more money for this loan and you're not sure, please contact one of us, whoever your coach is, do a session. There is possible financial play here, right? So we want to look at this from a few different perspectives. Is it smart for you to do it? Is it not smart for you to do it? And that is going to be different for everybody. So please know that as much as we would love to tell you this is what you need to do, it's going to be such a unique scenario. Just please make sure you reach out to us if you have that email, and we will guide you through, talk through like exactly what, is the right option for you.
Yeah, perfect. You're so right. Let's see. The other thing with that is, well, not quite that, but the pandemic unemployment assistance. I wanted to just touch briefly on that. This is the $600 above and beyond the state level unemployment. This is the pay that's also available for people who are self-employed, contracted, contract workers, gig workers, those that didn't have W-2 income to make them eligible for state unemployment. This has been very slow moving to get started in most all states. So just know that if you are one of those self-employed individuals and you've been applying for unemployment and you continue to see that you're, rejected, you don't qualify, you're not eligible, or you're approved, but you get $0, please don't give up hope. I really do. I believe that they are going to get this right, that every state is working as quickly as they possibly can to get the new infrastructure in place to be able to process these claims. They should be backdating it to the first date that your business closed or you stopped working or stopped receiving income. So please don't give up on applying. Just know that it is a bit of a long process and that every state's kind of at a different stage in where they're at with making those payments. And some I don't think have even started. So, keep holding strong and keep applying for those.
Yes. Don't give up. Don't give up hope, and don't give up taking action.
Yes.
Let's see. So in that same regard with COVID, we did a podcast episode recently. It is live, episode number 87. We want to make sure you guys saw it. It is all about how to financially prepare as things begin opening back up. So Jill and I discussed 6 questions you can ask yourself before adding an expense back in or reevaluating your spending going into this next sort of chapter after limbo, or maybe like a new phase of limbo, right? Just a different kind of limbo. But also 6 things to consider as well. So a number of really practical, relevant things you can do now to make sure you're ready for things to be opening back up. We do know, here in Arizona, things are starting to open back up, but we know we've got clients all over the country. So, we're very aware that the way things feel for you really seems to be very based on location. So if you're maybe in Michigan or the East Coast, chances are you're still on severe lockdown. So it might seem like, well, what are you talking about? Like preparing for things open back up? That's not happening anytime soon. But, you might be someplace like Arizona, for example, where things are, gyms are open, salons are open, restaurants are back open. Now, whether or not that is
whether they stay open or
right, sort of like the grand experiment, right? Unfortunately. So, but that's why we recorded that episode. It's relevant now or relevant a month from now when things start opening back up. It's actually all about being mindful and intentional and as proactive as possible. So don't wait until things start opening back up to go check out that podcast episode number 87.
Yeah, we've gotten great feedback on that one, guys. So it's definitely a good one, gets you thinking. So check it out. Let's see what else here. Oh, so personal updates. We always like to give you just a little bit of a personal update, what's happening in our lives. I mean, there's always lots happening and also nothing happening all at the same time. Right now, it's like every day is Groundhog's Day, but there's a little mixture of different stuff, I guess. So today was the last day of school for our kids. It's the official last day of school. We're doing a parade later on by one of the kids' teachers' houses that someone else in the class had organized, and we're going to go drive by and I think bring her a big bottle of vodka to like say thank you for helping us get through this last.
That's why we're friends, Jill. Just so you know, because those are the kinds of gifts you give.
I know, and it's really kind of weird. It's in one way, it's a relief because I am so glad to not be homeschooling anymore. This was not the life meant for me. I feel like I was very fortunate in that Matt, as a teacher, was home for most of this time. So he was so available and able to help the kids while I was working with clients all day long. And the last 2.5 weeks, he's been at school. And they called him in. He's been at school all day. And I've been home alone with the kids. And I don't think I could have done it this entire time by myself. Like, it was so hard. And I have so much just empathy for all of the parents that are like trying to manage their kids at home, work by themselves, have no one else there to like help tag team some of that. And I mean, gosh, it's like quite the challenge, very stressful to try to be like getting 3 different people on different computers at the same time when you're supposed to be working and like, but I'm glad that that's over with. Very relieved that it's done. But I'm also just really sad that this is like the end of the school year and our kids didn't get to, have that last quarter of school, which I know a lot of parents and kids are feeling. It's like the last quarter is always the best, right? It's like when all of the field trips are and the big projects are, and the kids are kind of like in their groove. They've found their rhythm at the end of the year. So everything feels easier and more enjoyable. And we just, I think as a society, all just really missed out on that. So it's just kind of a letdown to be like ending the year on this note.
Yeah. I would agree with the whole homeschooling thing. Like, it is not for me. I commend those parents who enjoy it or love it, or the teachers out there. I have always said that you are like heroes. I agree with you that, I feel lucky that Michael has been able to be as hands-on so that I could, stay focused in the business and helping clients through navigate this time. I feel like, so here gymnastics has opened back up for the kids, which is good. And we did do that, and it was very organized, really well done as far as like keeping everybody apart and sanitizing everything. So we did do that on Monday, and certainly debated whether or not that was the right call, but honestly, like, I just feel like my 3 and 4-year-old are bored. Like, they are officially bored out of their minds. And so like we were like, giving ourselves so much credit at first, right? Like, oh, we got this. We're good. It was not easy, but it was like, we got this. And now that it's been a couple of months, it's just fend for yourself, everybody sort of feeling, And we did celebrate. So this last Sunday, we celebrated Easter and Mother's Day with the grandparents. And it was the first time we've seen them in a long time. And just seeing my kids with them, and like, they were like, oh my God, they look so big, and I know it's only been 2 months, but for a 3 and a 4-year-old, that is a big deal. 2 months is a big deal. And it was so good to have like that human connection and see them again, be with them, spend time with them. And like you said, it's still a little sad because you think, God, we missed so much, over just a couple of months. So, but that felt really good. Me personally, I have been in major personal development mode for like the last month or two. I have had a lot of courses. Most of them we were signed up for before, COVID-19, lots of trainings. I'm excited. We believe very heavily in that. We think it's really important. We're always trying to be better ourselves so that we can be better for you guys. And the more we know, the more we can teach you and coach you on. So it has been, my brain is feeling very full right now. I'm excited. I feel like I need like 3 days in like a cabin someplace to like write out all these ideas that I have and all these new things that I learned on like, now what do I want to do with all that information? You know what I mean? Yeah. And I feel like I need to like digest it all still, but it's been really good.
Yes. Oh, that's so fun. I love that. Yeah. Continuous students, right? Always learning forever and ever, because it just makes life more fun, makes it more enjoyable, right? we always give you guys an update on what we're doing as far as like new clients that are coming in, who we're working with. I mean, we're not giving names or details or anything here, but like, but we had a busy month. Like you know, when COVID first hit, we definitely noticed that like there was a lot of slowdown. Everyone was, I think, in this like, let's just pause. Let's see what's happening. The world is changing as we know it, like day by day. No one kind of knew where things were landing. And I think we're all kind of like through the initial shock of all of that now. And like, I very much have seen that the clients that have been calling, the people I've been talking to, you know, if anything has come out of this experience, it's really made all of us reevaluate what our priorities are. And that's a huge part of the conversations that we've been having is that, you know, people are calling and saying, I am realizing that I'm not doing the things that I say I want to do in life, or my money's being just totally going every which direction, but not towards my biggest priorities. And I know that I'm not moving towards my goals in the way that I want. And they're like really excited to find a new way and to find a new method to get what they want out of life and to feel much more confident and prepared and like they can plan for what's coming in the future, even if it is a pandemic, right? So they're not like caught totally unawares and unprepared for those things. So it's been really, really cool. We had 7 Q&As during the month of April and 7 Eurekas during the month of April. So just to clarify, for those of you who don't know or who are curious, like what is a Q&A? What is a Eureka? You can schedule a call with us to talk to us at any time, you guys. If you are curious about what our coaching looks like, how we help people, if your scenario is something that we can help you with, that is the purpose of the Q&A call. So it is a 15-minute phone call where we're just going to learn a little bit about each other. I get to find out what it is that you're struggling with and if it sounds like something that I can help with, and then I can tell you a bit about what our coaching looks like. And the Eureka session is really how we get things kicked off. So it's how we begin working with anyone. And it's a really deep dive into what's happening with you financially. We get a very holistic picture of all of your finances, get to talk about your priorities, your goals with your money, your biggest challenges. And we put a very customized plan in place for you on how to tackle all of that. It is awesome. I love doing them. So we had a very full month in the month of April with those for sure. And I want to also welcome on, we had a new client that had signed in April. I think I did the Eureka session with her in March, but Mary, who started with us last month, and I am just loving working with her. She is amazing, a business owner. She's got 3 different businesses. So her, world is very, very busy, which keeps me happy. And you know that I love it when there's lots to wrap my arms around. But it's been so cool to get to work with her and help her really start to see much more clearly what's happening within her business and get some systems in place to get everything much more organized and flowing smoothly. So yeah, it's been
awesome.
Going really great. We have the best clients. I'm always so excited about the people.
I agree. Yes, I agree. Busy month in other ways as well. So we hired our newest coach, Jacqueline. Hopefully you guys saw that video where Jill interviewed her and gave you a little bit about her history and experience as a financial coach. She is not new to financial coaching by any means. She's been doing it for a while. We have stalked her for a while. She stalked us for a while. So it was a match made in heaven. We are so excited for her to join the team. And she'll actually be doing some of the future FC beats as well. So you guys will be able to see even more of her. But pretty exciting time over here getting her all ready and onboarded and all of that. And exciting news as well is that you guys, I don't know if you remember, but back right before COVID-19 happened, do you remember that period of time? Like pre-COVID-19? Yeah, go way back, okay? We were launching our home buyers course, and it was set to start right as COVID-19 was happening and things were shutting down. So we decided to cancel it at that time, probably postpone it, but we didn't know when. It is coming, you guys. We are so excited. The home buyers course is perfect for anybody who is thinking of buying a home this year or even next year. We're going to take you through, it's an interactive live program with Jill, Jacqueline, and I. We're going to talk to you about getting ready to buy a house. What do you need to consider? Everything from before you buy, during the process, underwriting, all of that. And even after you move into the house, what do you need to know? How can you make sure that that home is a blessing to you and not some financial heartache? Okay. So the home buyers course, if you want information about that, please just stick around in this group. We're going to be posting it a lot. You'll see more information about it. But like I said, it's live and interactive, 4 weeks long. You get the recording. So if you can't join live, that's totally okay. You can still participate and get questions answered and that sort of thing. And you get the recordings. So something to keep in mind there. And that kicks off on June 8th, Monday, June 8th. So you'll have until June 8th to register. And like I said, we'll open up registration here very, very soon. We actually sent out the first registration email this morning. So if you are not on our email list, that is the place to be because we always launch things there first. So we always, email people get preference. You're like VIP. So get on our email list. And if you are interested or if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us too. So if you're not sure if it's right for you, if you know somebody, please share it. If you want to put them in touch with us because you're not sure if it's right for them, please let us know. We're happy to talk with anybody. We want to make sure it's a good investment of your time, money, and energy. So
for sure. Things are happening again with real estate. It slowed down again. It was like one of those other industries that like everyone pressed pause for a little bit and they were like, are we really moving right now? What's happening in the world? And I know that I just had a networking meeting this morning and the realtor in the group and the mortgage lender, they were like, holy smokes, it has been busy this month. Like everyone's ready to get out of quarantine, at least here in Arizona. I will say this is Arizona still we're talking, but like people are ready to get out of the house that they've been sitting in for the last 2 months and not loving so much, I guess. So.
We had one client that put their house for sale on a Friday at 8 p.m. It went on the market Friday at 8 p.m. The next day had 13 showings the next day.
Oh, wow.
By the end of that night, had 4 offers that night.
Holy smokes. Holy cow. Yeah. I mean,
and by the second day, they had accepted one of the offers. They're like 3 days later was the inspection. Like it happened so fast.
Yeah.
So it's a hot market.
It is definitely hot. So time to learn how to buy a house the right way if you are thinking of buying a house. And that's what we're going to be there for the home buyers course.
Yes. And I will say actually really quickly, side note about this, but the offer, there was kind of a bidding war that happened for their house, which is great for our client who's selling their house. But they were telling me about the offer that they ended up accepting and the things that the buyers were saying in their offer, like they don't care what the inspection price is. They'll pay more than that, regardless of inspection, like all this kind of stuff. And I was thinking like from a financial coach perspective, like, oh God, that is scary. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I'm from my client's perspective, I'm like, well, hell yeah. But from the other the stranger, the person I don't know, I'm thinking, God, I hope someone's like talking to you about this because this is like a big financial decision you're making. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh, you're right. We can get a little bit emotional in the home buying process and then it's like everything goes. Let's just get into the house sometimes, right? So
exactly.
Yeah. Very interesting. It is pretty wild when the bidding wars start.
Yeah.
So the next thing on our list is client recognition, our favorite part. Really the whole reason we even wanted to start doing FC Beats, to be quite honest. So we're going to go through and celebrate some of our clients that just have really been making lots of progress, showing up this month, doing hard things, right? Mm-hmm. Like it is not easy to make a lot of progress. There's lots of temptations, lots of other things that you could be doing with your money. And we just really like to recognize them for staying true to what they say is important to them. So, first person on my list is Joan. And Joan, I have all the best clients. I don't know. I just do, but I love working.
Well, I will fight you with that title. Okay. Just so you know, I will fight you.
Your clients are all right too. But she has just been so fun to work with. She's another business owner, solopreneur, and she's been a successful business owner for 20 years, but has not really separated business and personal finances, has never had a good system in place for managing her money, has kind of been winging it. And, luckily her business is thriving and wonderful. So she's never had to worry about stressing so much about watching every penny, but as a result, it's all kind of been just winging it. So it's been really, really cool helping her to get things much more streamlined. She's starting to feel so much more confident with being able to see what's happening with her money. She has made big financial progress already. Just in the first month, she paid off one of her credit cards, paid off a loan to a friend, has been paying back. She had a bit on a lease that was a lease turn in and had to pay the difference on that, got that thing taken care of that was hanging over her head. It's just so cool to see how much can happen once you have a very clearly laid out plan in front of you and can really see what's coming, that she feels like I can take action right now and I can take care of this stuff and get it out of my life and not have to worry or wonder if it's the right thing.
Yeah.
So it's really cool.
And talk about just that whole lease turn-in situation. You do that transaction and then 6 months, a year later, you're still paying on something from your past, that long ago. Those types of things, you want them to be done deals, make a decision and be able to move on from it. And to have that dragging you out for so long is just exhausting. And you may think it's not that big of a deal or may not feel like a huge impact, but if you've got 10 of those things happening, it can really bog you down.
Yeah. Well, and it's in this particular case, she didn't necessarily agree with the dollar amount that they said. And there was a lot of arguing and back and forth about it because, how it played out was not the way that it was supposed to be. So it was this huge burden and very negative energy around it that just kept dragging her down. So to finally be able to say I'm done with this thing. I don't have to think about it anymore. It's out of my life. She immediately just seemed lighter,
Awesome. I love that. That's so cool. Let's see. Daryl, he paid off an old medical bill and one of his student loans, even in the midst of some really hard financial times. Daryl had to make a really tough decision, you guys, to close his coffee shop. We just wanted to recognize him for that tough decision. We know it wasn't easy. We see you, Daryl. We are thinking of you. We're thinking of so many of the business owners that are out there. Some of you are doing just fine, but some of you are really struggling, and this is not easy. We know you've been hit really hard by the pandemic. We wish so much that we could take that off of your plate. We wish we could solve that for you in some way. Daryl, had to make this choice. It was really hard, but he feels really good about it. Feels like it was the best choice financially for him. It was the right thing for him to do financially. And so we just wanted to recognize him for, that tough decision.
Yeah, definitely not easy. He was actually in his local paper talking kind of about what was happening. And it was a really good story that he shared. So, I do think it's just taking its toll, especially on these small towns and, local small businesses, mom and pop shops, things like that, where it's just really hard right now. So, thinking of you for sure, Daryl. Next on the list is Kyle and Callie. These two I started working with right after they got married. So they were the fresh newlyweds, figuring out what to do with their money, how to combine finances. We had all of that fun money talk, getting on the same page. And, they both came into the marriage having some financial things that they needed to figure out and get settled, which is, I think, very often the case, right? They have just killed it with every single thing, every challenge that's come their way. They somehow just handle it with such ease and grace that I certainly wish that I had in my early days of being married, and I did not.
Yeah.
Me
neither. I was thinking God, I wish I had a financial coach when Michael and I first got married.
I know. That's what I tell every new couple I work with. I'm oh, you're so smart. I wish I would have done this from the beginning. But, they've just continued to make progress, one thing after another. Kyle had been wanting a new truck for quite some time. He does a lot of handyman work and hauling things and had a small car, but they both knew they didn't want to have a big new car payment to go along with that truck. And I think they're just so financially savvy. Like, they have learned to take their time, to research, to be patient, to know what they want, have a very clear picture of how much they're ready to invest into something. And they did all of the right things. Like, I wish they're like poster children really for like how to handle a good financial decision. They wound up saving some money. They wound up selling Kyle's car on their own so they could get a bit more for that instead of doing a trade-in. And they found this new to them truck that was just the perfect deal. I mean, it looks like it looks brand new. It looks gorgeous. And they were able to pay cash for it because they got a really good deal on it. And I'm so proud of them for like really knowing what was important to them and kind of sticking to it and not getting tempted by like all of the offers that I think a lot of dealerships are having right now of like 0 financing for 84 months. And like,
wow.
They knew how much they wanted to spend and they stayed very focused on that. And they wound up finding the perfect truck for them. So congratulations, guys.
Yes, I love that. I love that they like have this truck, but they can really enjoy it now and feel really proud of it every time they look at it versus like looking at something you're like, oh, I can't believe I did that the wrong way or something, you know?
Right.
And I will say like, that's exactly, if you could bottle up how we want people to feel with their home purchase after the home buyer's course, like that is it, right? Like that you just made the decision in all the right ways. You had all the right considerations. You knew all the parameters. And so you get into the home and then you feel really good about it.
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to set up.
Exactly. Yeah.
Let's see. Tammy is next on our list of clients to recognize. Tammy has paid off over $2,000 in the month of April, you guys. She paid off and closed a Wayfair credit card balance and is on track to make some major progress this year so that she and her hubby, Gary, are ready to retire. How exciting. Oh my goodness. Get those things out of your life, Tammy. I am so proud of you. I know home decoration, home improvements, home remodeling, like we all have our thing. That is Tammy's, right?
Yes.
So it does not surprise me that it's a Wayfair balance that had to get paid off.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and the cool thing too is like she's paying off the balances and she has her like home renovations also planned for, like, you know, that's never going away. Right. So,
and that's okay. Right. Like we all have our thing. Like let's prepare for it and be realistic with it for sure.
Yep. That's right. That's the beauty of having a really good financial plan is you get to like enjoy the things you love the most and you get to make progress at the same time. Right.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Sarah and Chase. So I wanted to, chat about these two, give them a big high five virtually right now. Sarah and Chase did a Eureka session with me. I want to say 2 months ago. It was like right after the pandemic kind of hit. So it was a really weird time to be like doing a Eureka session because there was a lot of unknowns, I think. But they just took the ball and ran. Like every single suggestion that we went over during the session, they took it and did it. They did every single thing. Like they have been paying off debt. They've been putting money into savings. They're feeling much more on the same page financially, much less stress and worry about what's happening financially. They had a really rough couple of weeks a few weeks ago. They have 3 animals and all 3 of them had medical issues within like 2 weeks.
Oh my goodness.
So a massive amount of vet bills, as you can only imagine. And because of the steps they put in place just over the last couple of months, they were able to pay in full cash for everything that happened with their animals. And I just think that that's the beauty really of like managing your money well, is that when there's tragedy or something really hard that happens, the last thing you want on top of it is also worrying about the financial aspect because there's so much else going on. So they could truly be present. They could be with their pets. They could give them the care that they needed without having also this like anxiousness and worry of like, can we really take care of them because we can't afford it right now? So I just think that's so great. And congratulations to both of you. I'm very sorry also for just, everything that you kind of went through the last few weeks, but you should really be proud of your hard work.
For sure. For sure. Next up, we've got Mel and Tasha. So congratulations, you guys, for paying off your credit card balance in full. And in addition to that, exceeding your emergency fund savings goal for the year already. And by the way, we're in May, just so we're clear on like the timeline with this. So they hit their emergency fund savings goal for the year already. Just one thing too to remember for those of you, if you can backtrack like a month or two on an FCB, we acknowledge them because one of them had lost their job suddenly, but they totally went into action mode. They did amazing things right in that emergency crisis situation. And now just a couple of months later, they are killing it. So Mel also has the money in savings for the bike she wants to purchase, which is amazing. And now it's just a matter of like finding the right one. And they're also saving and onto their next project of doing some landscaping work, which is always fun. So paying off debt, emergency savings, a bike, and landscaping work. I mean, how incredible that like they can say that they've made progress on all those things.
Yeah, right. Oh my gosh, the trifecta or quadrofecta. I don't know. I don't think that's a word, but anyway, it is now.
Numbers, Jill, and not coming up with our unique words. Okay, let's just stick with numbers.
All right. I'll stick in my lane. Thank you. Next on the list is Mary. And Mary, I mentioned earlier, she's a new client that I just had started working with last month. She has so many exciting things happening in her life and in her business right now. I mentioned she has 3 businesses. Well, one of them just launched within the last few weeks. And so that's a really big, exciting thing for her. Just signed the lease on the showroom that she's going to have. Ooh. And, you know, just really cool to see all of those different things that's happening. While she has 3 businesses, of course, that means like even more moving pieces from the financial standpoint of like, knowing where everything is at. And, you know, prior to coming to us, she had everything kind of together. It was all very muddled. It was really hard to know, is one business performing while the other one is not, or where are things at? She does a lot of like construction projects. And so all of those things have a lot of moving pieces. So even is one project not profitable, and how much is she spending on it versus another one? So it's been really great to start to get some clarity for her, and she can start to see very clearly now if she's on track to keep that profit margin where she wants it with everything. She also paid off all of her personal credit cards this month, which is just really exciting. So just overall, she's doing really well and just such a pleasure and so fun to work with every time I see her.
That's awesome. Congratulations, Mary. Huge. I think those first steps are the hardest, like taking and saying, especially, I mean, you can have one business and it's still hard to figure out, like, how do I separate business and personal if I have never done it, or I kind of do it, but not really, which is what we hear all the time. Like, yeah, I just kind of pay a bill out of whatever money has, you know, whatever account has money in it, let alone 3 businesses and personal, and trying to like comb through all of that. So I want to commend her on sort of like that initial gut that she had, like that courage right there of just saying like, I know this isn't going to be easy, but we're going to do it. And like, look at how far, you know, she's been able to come as a result. So very cool. Mm-hmm. Let's see, Jenny and Kevin. I just want to acknowledge you guys for the tough decisions that I know you are making right now, for the challenging, heartfelt, emotional conversations that you're needing to have right now, for all of the thoughts and considerations that you are putting in to make sure that you're doing what's right, you're doing what's best. And I know that it's not easy. But I am honored to be a part of your journey as you are navigating some of these big business decisions that you're making right now. You know, some of it related to COVID-19, some of it not. And I'm just really proud of, like, I don't have a result that I can share yet, but I am really proud of like how they are showing up right now in these conversations. Does that make sense? And that to me is sometimes more meaningful, or has the biggest impact on what the result ends up being more than anything.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Tough conversations are like, you have to be really brave, right? To even dive into opening up and having them and looking at hard things. So yeah, that's amazing. let's see. Last on my list is Patty and Chris. And I worked with them probably over a year ago with a Eureka session. And at the time, they did not move forward to have additional coaching and came back about a year later and said, we're no farther along right now. In fact, we're, a little bit farther behind from where we were before, and this is not okay with us anymore. We can't continue heading in this direction. And again, I just think, the clients that we work with, they all have that same sort of bravery, I guess, of acknowledging what they're not okay with in their lives and really being brave to say, I don't really know what coaching looks like or what this is going to mean for me. And I'm hoping to God that this is, going to be the answer to turn things around, because you don't know in that moment.
It feels like such a leap of faith.
Yeah.
Right? Especially if you've tried 10 other things already and they didn't work. It can sometimes feel like just one more thing and you don't always trust it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And, they showed back up and have been just really committed and also doing really hard things though, they're being very committed and focused on what their overall result is, the picture that they want for their life, how they want it to be different than what it has been for the last 20 years, and what the example they want to be for their children, and to teach them a different way of managing money than what they witnessed themselves growing up. And, they've paid off debt. We've been working together now for about 3 months. They've paid off their Peloton bike, a medical bill. They had back taxes that they saved up to be able to pay the taxes that they owed on. Oh. Their Jeep was underwater because they rolled an old loan into buying the new Jeep. And they managed to pay off a big chunk of money to get it back to where it wasn't underwater so they could refinance it and drop the interest rate by 3.5%, which is a big thing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's a perfect example, Jill, of the middle step you sometimes have to take. The end result maybe is that we want the Jeep paid off, or we, don't want the debt in general, but sometimes you have to take that middle strategy to buy you time and save money until it's paid off.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. So, it definitely freed up more cash flow for them for the next number of years, that they're not going to have such a high car payment, and saving money on the interest over the course of that loan by a long shot too. So that's a great thing. That was a really hard thing for them to do too, because part of that money was tagged for something fun. They had been really focused on sticking to their budget. And when the stimulus money came, we said, you know what, if we take some of that and use it to kind of reward you for something fun. It was their daughter's 16th birthday and Chris's birthday all in the same month. And so we were going to take some of that and they were going to do something fun with it. And instead they decided this doesn't feel good, but we know that for our long-term financial well-being, this is a better choice of what to do with this money, and used a good portion of the fun money to instead pay down that difference on the Jeep to get it refinanced. So that was, it's hard. It's really hard to make those choices. And I'm really proud of them for doing that and deciding to do that for themselves. And, they're really committed to making some different changes and not doing the same thing they've been doing over and over.
I love it. And I also just want to say that it would have been okay if they had decided to stick with the original plan and do fun money too. And I know you know that, but I think we all have to do whatever is most sustainable for us. Right. And for some people, what gives them motivation and momentum is those huge sacrifices, or feeling as if they are really making those massive swings. And for other people, what is sustainable is not doing those and actually just being patient, allowing yourself some fun in the process and all of that. And we're here for all of it. We're hey, whatever, as long as I always feel our job is to paint the very clear picture of what the options are and help you figure out before you pull the trigger, how will you feel? What will you think? What will this look like afterwards? So that way, that the choice you're making is truly the one that's right for you. But we might have some clients that decide to do exactly what Patty and Chris did. And other clients might decide, I'm spending it on myself and I'm going to make slow progress on the Jeep or whatever it is. And there is no judgment on either of those. They are both right because they're right for different people.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. So thank goodness they still had some fun money put aside. So then not all of it went to the responsible thing. But yeah, I mean, it was a big sacrifice for sure. And it is such a good point, Kelsa, that there's no one size fits all. It's not the right thing for every single person. And I just love being able to help people decide what's the right thing for them right now.
Yes, exactly. So thank you to the awesome clients who are doing hard things, showing up in the best ways, making progress first and foremost, and then also hitting some pretty serious milestones along the way. So thank you for giving us a reason to do client recognition every month. It makes us so incredibly proud. We always like to wrap up the FC beat with some quotes to end. So I'll go first, Jill, and then you can go second to wrap us up. So my quote is, you can, you should, and if you are brave enough to start, you will.
I love it. It's a good one. Who's that by?
I don't know.
I was like, is it by you? Did you say that one? No.
It's not. Like, I just kind of Googled, like, I knew I wanted something about bravery, and I looked at, there's no accreditation for it. So I'm not really sure. Anybody knows, please tell me, because I just
I like it. It's a good one. Yes. I get an email every single day, and it's like my daily inspiration, and it's like a different inspirational quote that I get every morning. It's like my favorite thing in the morning to do is open my email and see my inspirational quote.
Wait, I want that.
I've done it for years. I know. I've been holding this out on you. I've done it.
You're in the group, Jill, because I'm sure I'm not the only one that would love that.
Yeah, I've gotten it probably for, I don't know, 8 years or more, like every single day, an inspirational quote to start the day with. And so today's I thought was a good one. It says, every day we are born again. What we do today is what matters most. And that was by Buddha, and he's a wise, wise man. So
yes. Oh my God. I love it. So good. So good. Well, thank you, everybody. Keep up the good work. And we will see you next month. And keep an eye out for Homebuyers Course. Say hi to Jacqueline if you get a minute, and welcome her to the Fiscal Fitness family. And Jill will post a link to that daily inspiration. I was going to say affirmation, but daily inspiration. So,
all right. Sounds good. Bye, guys.